So we've got to the point now with the hobby that, in general, boxes are becoming less desirable to open, to be honest. We are now at a point where I believe that booster boxes are way above MSRP, which it's not necessarily too difficult when it comes to the slice of the pie and just the hype in it. That was kind of always going to be an inevitable point of view. But the fact that now I believe every single booster box that is out there in terms of dollars is over, I want to say around the 200 mark. I believe there might be a couple that might be like on, say, like a 195 if you're being really, really skeptical with it. But in general, you think from Journey Together to a Temporal Forces, even a Powder Evolved was cheap back in the day. Obsidian Flames, I'd be very interested to see if that one's over it. They were all like, in terms of pounds, like 80 to 90 pounds you could get them for. And that's going to be, what, about like 110, 120 at the kind of lowest price we've seen. Now at this point, with the hobby just going crazy, obviously we had the big news break that they are not reprinting anything Surgeon Sparks and below. That's going to have a massive impact on the market in itself. So it is always very interesting to see where we go from here. Because to be honest, when it comes to these prices, I don't want to pay them. Like, genuinely, when you look at a booster box and when you get it for 120, 130 kind of was in pounds was the MSRP that I personally think. You could get it about $150, I believe it was back in the day. And it's still quite a lot. If you said that you're spending £120 on a gamble that you could get a bigger Pokemon or your collection, then obviously there might be a few sideways looks, but in general, that seemed at least relatively normal. When you look at Japanese products, and to be honest, you saw most of them. You see I can't remember what the Mask of Change or the mask, whatever it's called, Crimson Invasion, all that, was coming in at like £40 that you could buy a whole box. Granted, there's a little bit of a difference, but now even them boxes coming in at 200 off the rip, they do go down considerably, but even now coming in at 80, 90 pounds, I'm not necessarily a massive Japanese collector, but you knew just from the hype of them that they have gone up massively as well. And if we do look at something like the collectors app or collectors on the website, we can go over to the booster boxes and just see the level of products we've got at the moment, from the Evolving Skies going up at 1.7. These are the sort of products that I just cannot justify buying. Like Lost Origin, the chance that you get something good is very slim at 522. Who is opening up a product at that? Even when you do look at the Powder Evolved and you think that is coming in at 296, that is absolutely crazy to think that you would open up something like that. Even the Journey Together booster box, if I'm thinking I'm buying 36 packs for potentially around the 180 to 190 pound mark, that is absolutely crazy. Now, yes, you can go and find singles, you can go and find single packs, that is, and half sleeve boosters at your local convenience stores, at Smith's potential, and there might be limits here, there, and everywhere, but you can find them at around a £4 a pack, which is considerably better than buying the full box. Now, obviously, for an investment point of view, the boxes are going to be a pretty decent place to start, really. If you can afford to, on launch, try and find a box from somewhere, you are almost guaranteed money at this point. From an MSRP point of view, most boxes will always be up at some point. Now, if you're buying boxes at this point, like if you go and buy a Fusion Strike at 780, there's going to be questions to be added whether you're going to make a considerable amount of money in the near future, or if you do wait the 3 to 5 years, then obviously you might make a little bit extra. Now, when we do look at Obsidian Flames at 250, base set at 204, Stellar Crown I could see, we've got Twilight at 230. Like Twilight I could understand, the Greninja is a massively hyped card, Lugia, a Silver Tempest at 360, even Brilliant Stars at 430 in the matter of a couple of years is crazy. We have Battle Partners, I want to say that was coming in about 150 on launch. Nice to see that that's coming down. Battle Styles, one of the worst sets in Sword and Shield from my personal point of view, still coming in at 202 mark is crazy. Destined Rivals obviously not out yet at 267. We've got the Glory of Team Rocket finally dropping. That was out at 190 to start with, and we do know that the Japanese products are coming down and down, which is nice. I think the problem you've got with this, and the same with Hotair Arena, is the problem you've got with anything that is kind of Japanese at this point is if you can't get English, that's the next best. So If you're looking at that and thinking, I just want to collect, honestly, like I said in a previous video, I'd rather just go to like Korean, Japanese, Chinese, German, French, and just get product that way. If you're looking for the artwork, the price isn't the point at this point. We are trying to get the specific product, not necessarily the price of it. Now, everybody loves a good price. I'm hardly going to sit here and say, I really hope I don't pack the God pack out of Prismatic Evolution. Of course you'd like that. That's just inevitable. But in terms of the card itself, I wouldn't care if it was a Terrestrial Festival or if it was English. The whole point is to get the artwork. I like filling a binder. That's personally my point with it. Now, in terms of kind of where you go from here, what's the kind of change to this? Like, you could go with the Japanese and go a bit further back. Obviously, you look at Cyber Judge Booster Box and kind of go that way. That's a potential. I think that is most definitely an interesting way. And I'm not necessarily the most clued up on Japanese products, but I'm definitely going to be learning a bit more about it just because of generically what you see from it. The hardest things I always find with Japanese without kind of really taking a look is trying to find the singles. If I don't want to have to buy a full box of Climax booster box, then obviously that's going to be the interesting point to say the least. And naturally, prices will eventually drop down. The new launches, the kind of hype beast will be taken away from it a little bit. And what I would suggest, especially if you are looking at modern, is go for singles. It's going to be my personal favorite way to do it at the moment. And if you are looking for, say we go Obsidian Flames, because I know for me that is quite a cheap set in itself. When you look at the high to low factor of this, if we go prices, it will obviously come up with the cases, but when you see their number one chase card being $60 as such, and then you kind of go further down, you see a lovely Ninetales at 19, you see then the Charizard EX at 20. It's a relatively affordable set that you don't necessarily need to go out and buy the booster boxes, all of the packs. I would just collect the singles, and to be honest, that's what I'd go with a lot of them. You look at Journey Together at the moment. That is going to be another one that, yes, you could go out and buy packs still, and I think if you are so close to it, then fantastic, definitely. But when we look at the set in itself, it's not necessarily that crazy of price that you couldn't think, maybe I just wait for the Lily's Clefairy. That could be a final chase card as such. We obviously have got the Salamence, the Enzorok, and also the Belly Bolt, and I suppose Zacian all around that 60 to 100 mark. That's pretty reasonable to know that the drop off from that 60 is 43 into the 30, the 26, the 26. It's relatively affordable. I would definitely be looking at potentially trading a few things. If you are looking for a specific set, don't go with the all-out trying to get everything. Take a target and move from there. If your target is Journey Together right now, see what you've got to sell. See what you've got to trade in. Could you trade for it? It's personally what I'm doing. I'm going through the collection and trying to dominate where I want to go with it. Personally, I'm looking at something along the lines of Fossil. Now, obviously, we're not going to be buying any booster boxes for that. It's going to take a little bit more from that. But in terms of kind of what I'm looking at, non-first edition based, obviously, I'm trying to get little piece by piece. I'll go to a card shop, I'll go to a convention, I'll buy one card, two cards, and kind of keep it nice and easy, because the FOMO of trying to pack everything, trying to get every set is going to be insane. Now, this is where personally you look at the journey to, you look at the Japanese side of it and look at something like the Hotair Arena. Now again, you're going to see prices like you've obviously got the Ethan's Ho-Oh and Cynthia's Garchomp, but other than that, you've got obviously the kind of promo one with Ethan's Adventure, Cynthia's Garchomp in gold, 31.20, and you can see it drops in price massively when you go across all of this. Like you compare this to what Destined Rivals is going to be like. It's absolutely crazy, and this set isn't necessarily that old yet either. When we do look at something, if we go a bit further back, and we look at something like Battle Partners, you've got Lily's Clefairy at 150, 70, 60. You go a bit further down, you've got 39, 30. And you can see the price difference. When you're looking at Zacian 27 versus 60, it's a massive difference when you think, yes, the kind of chase card is there at 150, but everything else is considerably cheaper. Yes, you will get a few that are obviously more, but if we do look then one further back to that and you go potentially to Super Electric Breaker, yes, you might find the Pikachu might be a bit more expensive, I wonder if that's going to be enough. Yeah, the Pikachu's at 240, which, to be fair, is kind of at the price for English at this point as well. Maybe a little bit less and more. But then you look at the Milotic, considerably cheaper. Then you go straight into the Gold Pikachu at 37, 36. It's a great way to be, in my opinion, compared to when you do look at the Surgeon Sparks element and you think 280 for this Pikachu, 176 for the Latios, but Milotic at 104, 62, 53. There's a massive, massive price difference, and I'm interested just because we've already looked at that Latios now at 176. You have got the Paradise, is it Paradise Dragona or something like that? This is the other side of it, 105, 73, 25. It's so much cheaper that if you are looking for the art form, if you are looking for just collecting cards rather than this big old price bracket, then this is going to be the place to go, in my opinion. I think realistically the Japanese product, just buying singles in general, is going to be the way to just hold off for the moment, because when we do look at booster boxes in general, I don't think they're fun to open. I really think that you're putting so much emphasis on price, especially price per pack, that it's just not going to be fun, because you are hoping you pack that Lily's Clefairy, that Team Rocket's Mewtwo, and honestly, I'm not about that. I like the sets. I'm a personal collector of sets. I could see myself just going to Japanese instead and rocking out on that just in general, and maybe selling off the English and going that way. Vintage might be a little bit more towards English for myself, just because I do prefer it, but when it comes to the newer sets, it's probably easier. It's very easier. Obviously, the product is there. If you can get your order from the Japanese sites and all of that, it's probably a lot easier to do. So let me know down below what you're going to go with. I'm interested to know where everybody's thinking with all of this, but I didn't realize Collector had it so you could look and see all this so easily. It's a very nice site to go on. Obviously, I use that for my valuation of my sets, but it is just mental when you do look at some of the product and just think, wow, it's expensive out here.